Arias, thank you very much for joining us on the programme. I want to reiterate that some of Martin's views there are not the views of NewsX World. We now move on. A senior Tibetan official has now stated that the nationality of the Dalai Lama's successor would not be restricted to Tibet. Samdong Rinpoche, the former Tibetan Prime Minister who's in exile and senior leader of the Gaiden Pradyang Trust, has said that the spiritual leader was in good health and has not given any written instructions yet on the succession. Here's what he had to say.
Kind of restriction. Dalai Lama should born in Tibet. Dalai Lama born in Mongolia, the third one, and Dalai Lama born today in India, the sixth Dalai Lama, and there's no nationality or geographical boundary.
This comes after the Dalai Lama said that he will be reincarnated and that his non-profit institution will have the sole authority to identify his reincarnation, countering China's insistence that it will choose the successor of the Tibetan Buddhist leader. Meanwhile, Penpa Tsenring, leader of the Central Tibetan Administration, has said that the Dalai Lama would be open to visiting Tibet if his health permits and if there were no restrictions from China, which would mark his first visit to the country since 1959. However, he also added that Beijing had put a condition in that if the Dalai Lama visits, he should stay back, a condition that the Dalai Lama has refused, saying there is no freedom in China. Beijing, which views the Dalai Lama as a separatist, has reiterated that it had to approve the reincarnation and that it had to be done in China through a centuries-old ritual. We once again move to a related development, where as many praise the good news from Dalai Lama, some Tibetans in exile living in India's capital, Delhi, are discussing the uncertain future of his succession after the spiritual leader said the trust he founded will lead the search for his successor. The remarks by the leader, who turned 90 on July the 6th, came during a week of celebrations to mark his birthday. The remarks end long-time speculation among millions of followers about whether there would be another Dalai Lama after his death. Beijing views the Dalai Lama, who fled to India from Tibet in 1959 after a failed uprising against Chinese rule, as a separatist. The Dalai Lama has previously said his successor will be born outside China and urged his followers to reject anyone chosen by Beijing. Let's take a look at what some of his followers in Delhi had to say.
सक्सेसर जो है ना, वो चुनने के लिए फर्क क्यों पड़ता है? एक तो चाइनीज़ का जो रूल है और कंट्रोल में, अभी तो वर्ल्ड में से सबसे चाइनीज़ सबसे ताकतवर है। दलाई लामा जी ने उनको बहिष्कार करने के लिए, उनको रोकने के लिए, तभी उन्होंने क्या कहा है, सक्सेसर आगे जो चुना होगा वो जहाँ भारत देश या कहीं जहाँ फ्रीडम हो, डेमोक्रेसी हो, वहाँ आज़ाद देश, वहाँ पर मैं चुनूँगा।
नहीं, हम तो ऐसे सोचे नहीं इस बारे में, तो ऐसा है। और दलाई लामा के अलावा हम लोग सोच भी नहीं सकते ऐसा कोई दूसरा उनकी जगह लेगा, ऐसा है। तो हमारा तो उन्हीं का है, मतलब जो